The core basically, there are three areas of core strategy. Basically, there are three areas of core corporate strategy. One of the core areas is strategic analysis. So when we raise issue on corporate strategy, we should bear these three basic areas in mind. I will say one of the areas is strategic analysis. This strategic analysis focus on the organizational mission and its objective that will be examined and analyzed. This corporate strategy provides value for the people involved in the organization. And who is that person that is the senior manager who develop the view of the organization and entity. So when we say we are conducting strategic analysis, we are looking at the mission, vision of the organization. The organization from the holistic point of view. Then conduct an examination of the objective, the relationship between the environment and the organization. Strategically, the top manager conducts this analysis to re-examine the mission, the vision, and objective. Because it is the mission and vision of the organization that guides organizational activity. It is the mission and vision of the organization that will direct the activity flow in any organization. So, when we face the issue of core areas of corporate strategy, one of the core areas is analysis. The top manager conducts this analysis by critically looking into the mission of the organization. About strategic analysis. We examine the overall objective, emphasize mission and vision to know whether with the new environmental trend, because if you are a manager in any organization, you are not putting the organization into consideration, bear it in mind that you have problem at the end of your analysis. That is one of the core areas of corporate strategy. Another area of corporate strategy is strategy. Strategy option have to be developed. To be successful, strategy is likely to be built on a particular scale of the organization. Special relationship that it has can develop with this. You are to develop a strategy. There are people, there are things that you should bear in mind. Because each of your strategy that you develop, there is areas that strategy must have an impact. So you must also mind as you are to develop that strategy. Who are these people that this strategy will affect? Who are these people that will benefit from this strategy? Who are these people that the strategy will affect? They are the stakeholders. What are the suppliers? The customers, the distributors, and the government. So, managers, they are the people that develop strategy. How can you have pick an option to be developed? You should ask yourself, who? What special relation that this strategy has on the people will do what? Affect. As we have mentioned, as the customers, the distributors, the government, development should look at this so that developing advantage over what? Competitors over times. This strategy that you are developing, you should bear one thing in mind. That this strategy used to overcome, to maneuver competitors in the market over a period of time. You don't go ahead and develop already existing strategy in the market. You say that you have developed a strategy. If you are in any business, you bear it in mind that there are other competitors that are competing with you favorably. You and those companies are driving the same market. So you must come up with a new strategy that will have an edge for you to sustain the market over a period of time. When we raise the issue of strategy development, we should bear in mind who and who will benefit, who and who will this strategy affect. In a holistic term, it will affect the stakeholders. And this means that you must develop the advantage over higher. You must develop a strategy that will have an advantage over your fellow what? Competitors. This is the second core area of strategy. We have raised the issue of strategic analysis. Now we talk about development, strategic development. The next core area is the strategic implementation. Now, when we raise the issue of strategic implementation, you have many options to select the best among the strategies, depending on the prevailing circumstance. You select and execute. There are many major difficulties in terms of motivation, power relationship, government negotiation, company acquisition, and many other matters. Strategy cannot be implemented. Any strategy that is wrongly implemented means that it is waste of paper. It ends up, if the idea of conception is dead. You may have a good strategy, you may analyze, you will have a good strategic analysis. You develop a good strategy. But when you implement it wrongly, it means that all the effort is in vain. So in every strategic implementation, because when we talk about strategic implementation, we have alternative courses of work, actions before us. So as we execute, we should be very careful because it is a major difficult task to do. Because that is where the result will come out in terms of what? Execution. So these three core areas are very essential in corporate strategy. So that is the core areas of corporate strategy. Strategic analysis, strategic development, strategic implementation. After that, we move on to look at levels of strategies. Levels of what? Strategies. In every strategy, there are 3 levels. The first level in levels of strategy is the corporate level. And when we say corporate level, by the name corporate level, all should know that we are referring HLM at the topmost of the what? Organization. It concerns with the overall scope of an organization and how values will be added to the different parts of the organization. This could include the issue of geographical coverage, scale of product or service, or business units, how resources are to be allocated between different parts of the organization. So the issue of corporate level strategy, it is a sensitive issue. It is having a conceptual view of the organization, having a holistic view of the organization, and knowing how to map out strategies that will address the issue of geographical coverage, the issue of diversity of products and services, the issue of business units, and how resources can be allocated. Because we all know that resources is the most scarce things that we have in our organization. So no matter the quantum, it will not be enough. So you should be very careful while allocating resources in each of the activities that you are about to carry in any organization. So the issue of corporate level is likely to be concerned by the expectation of owners of the stakeholders and stock market. It may be weighted form of explicit or implicit statement of mission that reflect on the expectations. This being clear about corporate level strategy is an important range of business. So there's no business activity that you will embark on without considering the corporate level. Because at that corporate level, that is where the decisions, that is where the mission and vision, that is where the goal of the organization is established. That is one of the corporate levels. That is one of the levels of strategy when we refer to the issue of corporate level. Any question?
No, sir. I had network problem. I had to reconnect.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I have one question, sir. Yeah, you were talking about how implementation can mess up a strategy. Can you give us an instance, please, for clarification?
The issue of explain apply to launch the new product in the market. If a firm plans to launch a new product in the market, at the onset, when they conceive this idea of launching a new product in the market, that is, under that, they are doing strategic work analysis. With time, they launch into strategic development. How then do we go about doing this? Start putting other plans, other activities on ground. At the point of coming into market, that is strategic work implemented. Remember, the issue of these strategies, some of them are just still paperwork. It is at the point of implementation that is where even a common person in the firm will now realize those ideas have been conceived. So at the point of this implementation, that is launching this market into what? Market. If the firm, as they have mapped out step by step on how to launch these products, and if they fail in any of these steps in the process of implementation, you will then realize that the issue of strategic analysis, strategic development, all becomes what? Paperwork, all becomes event. Because the realization and achievement of those ideas lies on strategic what? Implementation. Where even the common person can now feel, see, touch all those ideas which the firm have been conceiving over a period of time. If the company say they are launching a new product, at the top it is still the paperwork. As they do strategic analysis, you do it like they do it is in line with their mission and vision. At the strategic development, you will go here and not do this and do this. In the issue of implementation, that you will now see that a new product has been launched into a market. But over a period of time, that product will be what? Fade away. It will die. If that will die at that point, you will now realize all the resources that they deploy in doing that, all is in what? In vain. I don't know whether I have addressed that issue. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have I addressed the issue?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So now we are addressing the issue of corporate level. I will say that the corporate level strategy covers the overall scope of the organization and how value will be added to different parts. Just like those are in management. When we raise the issue of managerial skill, we say that a manager should possess a conceptual skill. And it is that conceptual skill that will empower the manager to have a holistic view of the world, of the organization. At this corporate level strategy, if the top manager found not to have a conceptual view, a holistic view, overall view of the organization at this level, corporate level strategy will not do what? Work. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the next level of strategy is business level strategy. Only business level strategy, which is about how various business, including into that corporate strategy, should compete in the market. When we talk about business level strategy, which is about how various business can exist in a corporate strategy and compete very favorably in the market. Some textbook may call it competitive strategy. For example, the concerned issue with price strategy, innovation, differentiation. Some business activities can, under this corporate level strategy, you see a firm, they have different product lines. Some of them are in business, trying to achieve the corporate goal. the issue of fight strategy will not come in. The issue of innovation or differentiation will not come in. Or better quality will not come into. So under this business level strategy, these various businesses will start applying different competitive strategy in order at the end of the day, you will say these business units are topping charts. Which at the end of the day, the corporate goal will be what? Achieved. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So for the issue of business level strategy, it can become competitive strategy. In every corporation, they have different business units. That is why at times you see in a company, they will say the best unit award. You'll be asking, are they competing within? Are they competing among themselves? Sure, they are competing among themselves. At that point, firms are trying to wake up every unit to be strategic, to distinguish themselves, to provide a framework for whether or under what condition or business opportunity might be added or rejected. So, under business level strategy, it is a competitive strategy that may exist among different units in an industry. So it can come from issue of price strategy, it can come from issue of innovation, it can come from issue of differentiation, it can come from better quality or distribution channel. These are the 4 areas which business level strategy can exist. In every strategic business unit, we know that strategic business unit exists within overall organization. Is a part of an organization which there is a distinctive extra market for goods and services that is different from another business unit. So every unit will keep on involving in creativity, innovation, bringing new things that will make them be ahead of other business units. So that is about business level strategy. The third level strategy is the operating end of an organization. Here, the operational strategy, which is concerned with how a component part of an organization deliver effective business level strategy in terms of resources, process, and people. At the operating level of every organization, this is where all this paperwork come into reality. This is where they convert all these things into what you can touch and do what? Feel. So when we say operating ending of operating strategy, level of strategy, we are just referring to strategy that concerns with how component parts of an organization deliver effective corporate or business level strategy in terms of resources, process, and people. This operational level strategy can come in terms of design, layout, renewal. In most businesses, business strategy depends largely on the decision that is taken on the activities of the operational level. corporate level strategy mostly are paperwork pushed down to the business level what? Strategy. And when this business strategy finish, then pushes down at the what? Operational level what? Strategy. It is under operational level strategy that we convert this paperwork into what we can see, touch, or feel. And the three major assets, three major activities that can convert this are the what? The sources, the process.
Looks like we have lost him.
And the what? Areas that every business activity look at under operational level. Under this operational level, because with the resources, with the process, with the technology, and the people, this idea conceived from the corporate level, push down to the business level, down to the operational level, and be converted into physical world. It can be designing products or rendering service, or a firm launching a new site, business expansion, a new layout, or moving into the innovation of existing products. Without this operational level, the corporate level and business level strategy will just be a dream conceived that never come into reality. So it is the operational level that will convert the idea conceived at the top level, at the middle level, into what? Into reality, into things that we can see or feel. These are the what? These are the levels of corporate strategy. The next thing we ask ourselves, why do businesses fail? One of the basic reasons why businesses fail is lack of focus and cohesive vision for the company. Lack of focus and cohesive vision for the company. Most times you see company came into existence, over time they fade away. Why? Why is it that some companies that are doing well over a period of time they will cease existing? Because most times some businesses they lost focus. There is no cohesive vision and mission. They attempt to go into everything, be everywhere at the same time. It is not possible. Every business organization must have a focus. This is our purpose of what? Existence. We desire vision, mission towards that. So, any company that lacks focus and vision, they are bound to do what? Fail. So, this is one of the reasons why firms collapse, why firms fail. Another reason is lack of ownership, clarity, and accountability. lack of ownership, clarity, and accountability. When you operate an organizational structure that has become very bureaucratic with too many employees and overlapping responsibility, shows the organization down and body of the company with necessary costs. Where there is lack of ownership, clarity, and what? Accountability. In every organization, we all should know organigram, organizational charts, organizational structure. It is that organizational chart or organigram that will tell you who is in charge, who you should be accountable to. Organigram. You will realize that there will be too much bureaucratic process. At that point, there will be overlap of responsibility. And when such happen, duplications of responsibility and duties. First of all, question, do what? We go high. What organization that lack ability are bound to do what? Well. Another reason why organization fail is decisive in making decision. Being decisive in what? Doing what? Making decision. Decision neither not to make or are we to make or not to make. You'll be dragging your feet. Are we to launch a new product or not to launch a new product? As the firm is dragging on what to do, people now, what is it? As they are dragging their feet, to launch a new product or not to launch a new product, their competitors in the market will launch the same products. They are not. They cannot stand first. This is what they want to do. Or this is the way we'll go it. Their vision and mission are not clear. If they realize that their fellow competitors in the market is launching a new product, they want to go and launch a new product. There's no provision for such. So you now realize this is comes why most firms they cannot say this is one strategy, this is one thing. These are very common reasons why firms fail. Hello, are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any question? Any question?
No, sir. No, sir.
The next thing that we look at competitive advantage. Obtainable competitive And we are to look at sustainable competitive advantage. The main reason for every organization to analyze competitors is to enable the organization to develop a competitive advantage against them. Advantage that you can sustain over a period of time. So when the issue of sustainable competitive advantage, it involves every aspect that a company competes in the marketplace, be it the product, be it the price, be it the quality, be it the service level. So, for you to say you have established a sustainable competitive advantage, it means that your competitive advantage is not imitatable, because you now realize that look at companies in Nigeria, be it a service firm, a manufacturing firm, they realize their fellow competitors have launched a new product in the market. After 1 month or 2 months, you see that company coming into the same market with a similar product. Why is it that they can do that? Because they can launch their new products in the market, have sustainable competitive advantage. But if you have sustainable competitive advantage, it can come from different angles. It can come from a price. You see a company selling below cost price. Other competitors, if they enter the market, they will realize that they can compete. They will do what? They will go. It can come from a quality. The company can have a sustainable competitive advantage of a product in the market based on the price. They will sell below the cost price. If other competitors look at the price and they go into production, product development, they look at the cost of producing that product. They will look at what their competitors in the market, what they are selling that product is. What's like Coca-Cola, when they are fighting, when they are using aggressive marketing strategy against Pepsi, they do everything within their power to ensure market to a point they deploy people who are in the market buying Coca-Cola. As the company produce, product will not enter the market. They will buy the product and destroy it. Over 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, there is nothing like a Pepsi product in the market. So you realize when people come to the market, I need Pepsi, no Pepsi. I need Mirinda, no Mirinda. After 2 or 3 months, you will just come and say, give me Coke. Conclude is that Coke is no longer in the market because they were using aggressive marketing to ensure that they eliminate them. In the market. using that strategy. They allow the product to enter the market. If not, a Coca-Cola, Pepsi was strong enough. With that, they will let them. They will act on the market. So when we talk about sustainable competitive advantage, we are talking about an advantage and your fellow competitors cannot do what? Emulate. It can come from the service that the company render, it can come from their product, it can come from price, it can come from politics. So these are the issues when we say competitive, sustainable competitive advantage. So organizations that have sustainable competitive advantage, there are benefits that they do what? They incur. What are these things that you can see? You encourage firms to go into that. Those advantages mostly are embedded in the organizational resources, in the skills that you see in the organization, in the culture of that organization, in the investment over time. You should realize that a firm that has sustainable advantage will have a big market share. A firm that has a sustainable market share will have a larger economic scale. A firm that has a sustainable market share will be unique in that industry. Have sustainable share will be a leader in that industry. Mention many advantages which sustainable competitive advantage brings to the firm that has it. So when the issue of somebody asks you the issue of is there any advantage attached to having a sustainable competitive advantage? Yes, there is. So far as that sustainable competitive advantage is not imitatable, because when once other competitor can imitate it, it is no longer sustainable. And what you say that is sustainable is something that other company cannot do what? That. So, firms should try and find a niche in the market that they can anchor competitors not do what? Have that. Just like if a firm have a good technology that can it have a technology that can reduce production for them. They will do what? Reduce the price of their products. And if other companies that are in the same line of business, they don't discover that technology that technology becomes their sustainable one, competitive what? Advantage. So, sustainable, competitive advantage. Another area that we look at is the public service, not for public what? Organization. Questions always come up. Is there need or no? Public service are owned by governments. Most non-profit oriented organizations they face competition. Because when we talk about strategy, we talk about profit, our attention was to corporate oriented business because they are the people that face what? Competitors. But today, in our non-profit organizations, they need what? They have sustainable competitive advantage. What in the past, in what way? They may not become, not just because of their service, are often provided for consumers, or because they don't have competitors that you think these are their what? Of non-profit what? Organizations. Because they depend on government what? Funding, private donations. But they still need what? Sustainable, competitive what? Strategy or advantage. Is there one organization that doesn't need fund? Because if you look at most of government parastatal, fund distribution becomes a problem. How to make decision on how to distribute the fund given to them is an issue. So the issue of sustainable competitive advantage comes in among these non-profit organizations. How do they sustain a fund given to them? And at the same time, provide the necessary service expected from them. We will say that such non-profit making organization what? Sustainable competitive what? Advantage. I don't know whether I'm making sense. So, that's about that. But let's look at another thing that we look at. We look at sources of sustainable competitive advantage. What are the likely sources? If a firm wants to develop sustainable competitive advantage, what are the areas they should look at? First, they should look at their differentiation. What are those things that will make them unique from other words organization. And back on that, they go into what they will make them what? Having a unique future in terms of their product and service makes them what? Sustainable. Having a sustainable what? Advantage. Another source of sustainable competitive advantage is low cost. Development of low cost production. And then when they firm produce product at a lower cost, and they also tag their product low price, so you see them having a sustainable competitive advantage. Another source is niche market. If a company select a small case segment and concentrate on their effort in achieving advantage in that segment, we say a market, such company have an inch in such have an inch in such markets. So the next competitive advantage is high performance of technology. We have raised this issue before. If a firm have a high performance of technology, it is a very good, sustainable competitive advantage. The firm can use it. What other companies can produce in an hour, they produce in 30 minutes. It is an advantage. You now realize that advantage give an edge. Another source of sustainable advantage is the quality. If a company have a good product quality and other competitors don't have such quality, it is becoming a leader in the market. Just like Ekwan Brewery, when we come to beer industry, they are the leader because of their product what? Quality. Another one is service. Some companies that have the render good service, somebody will say, even in our local industries or our local fast food, if a firm render effective and efficient service, a smooth service to their customers, see somebody saying, I don't mind the price because of the service. That service, let me go there. Go there. So, based on service, if you render effective and efficient service, it is a sustainable source of competitive advantage. See, have your competitors is vertical integration. Vertical integration. In strategic management, we know how what we call vertical integration and horizontal integration. When you integrate in the same line of business, you say that is vertical, or that is horizontal. But when you move backward or forward, you say it's vertical. So under vertical integration, you may go into backward acquisition of raw material. You see a company that produces, let's say, a drum brewery, or let me say, the company that produces bread. If that company that produces bread wants to put into vertical integration, the flour they use in baking bread, they will no longer buy it. They will bring the one. They will now go and plant it instead of buying from the farmers that harvest, process it into flour. They will be the one to go and buy land, plant it, harvest it, process it. That is what? Backward what? Integration. Then under forward integration, they have channel of what? Distribution. Instead of allowing distributors that will come, register with them, carry the bread, they will now buy. I will be distributing this bread for them. That's what? Integration. So in a family which to have the sustainable.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please, can you repeat yourself, sir? Please.
Vertical integration.
Okay.
If a friend wish to embark on vertical integration, those are into great production. The youth in producing bread. You know that these flours, when they are still in their raw materials, mills, flowers, which there are people that are into planting this as a seed, harvesting into that flour. Bread companies, they will go and buy this. Like this bakery, they all wish to go into backward integration. They will go and purchase land, harvest it, process it into raw material. Backward one. At that point, they have eliminated that source at which they do what? Buy the raw material. They are the one producing the raw material. At the same time, if they wish to go into forward integration, there are people that will come to the company, buy this plate, and start moving from one place to go and do what? Distribute it. Now, the company will not eliminate these distributors, buy their own bulk. They will start doing what? Distributing this plate to their what? Various what? Customers. And when they do this, we call it forward integration. Have I made myself clear? Have I made myself clear?
So, sir, keep on making.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, please, the forward and backward integration, are they under vertical integration?
They are vertical.
Thank you.
So now, another sustainable competitive advantage is synergy.
I'm sorry, yes, sir.
Yeah? It's synergy. Now, we all know the mathematics behind synergy. Okay, Chiku, do you have a question? We all should know the mathematical formula behind synergy. Now, under synergy, we will say 1 plus 1 is 3 instead of 2. That is the mathematical formula of what? I will say synergy is the combination of parts of business so that the sum of them work more than the individual parts. If of us as a class come with our strength and knowledge, when we team it together, results will metamorphose into something that will be more superior than our individual strengths. So the law of synergy always say 2 plus 2 is 5. When two powerful heads comes together, they do what? They produce a better result. So when the issue of course, because these parts share fixed overhead, transfer their technology, and share the same exports. So if people that in different line of business together, they goes into bakery, they move into synergy. This is the raw material. Move into synergy, distributors. You will now see that the profit which they will declare at the end of the day will be higher. And when the bakery business is doing it on their own, that is the law of what? Synergy. So that synergy is another source of establishing a sustainable competitive advantage. Next source is the word culture, the leadership that exists in the what? Organization. Now, when we base this issue of culture, that culture is the norm, value, technology, language that exists in organization that makes them to be unique in execution or implementation of activity that exists in that work organization. It is the norm, value, artifacts, technology, language that makes an organization to be unique in execution of what? Activity. Now, if the culture of an organization is unique, it means that its activities will also be what? Unique. In the other way around, we all are managers. We know that we have more than 10 leadership styles. Outside the basic leadership style we all know, we have 3 basic leadership styles, which is autocratic, laissez-faire, and democratic. So when the leadership style in organization is unique, it means that the activity in that organization will be unique. So that's all we have for today. Any question? Any question?
Please can you help take the leadership part again?
I think basically what we have between the 2 leadership styles: the autocratic leadership style, democratic leadership style, and the laissez-faire leadership style. These are the 3 basic leadership styles. But we have more than 10 leadership styles. But these 3 basic leadership styles, other leadership styles originated from these 3 basic leadership styles. So one wants a leadership style, depending on the one organization operates, that will determine the uniqueness of that one organization. Tim?
Hello, sir.
Hello? Yeah?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so my question is about the sustainable competitive advantage. Are you hearing me, sir?
Ah!
Can you hear me, sir? Hello? Hello? Hello?
I think
He's no longer here.
He's no longer here. Ah,
Here.
probably network, right?
Is he coming back?
Let's try to. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, do we have anyone who can get him back, please?
Support should handle that.
Alright, thank you. I hope you have the support online now.
Yes, she's online. Hopefully.
Okay, thank you.
He will come. He will be with us. He will join us back. Not an issue.
Alright, thank you.
You are now muted.
I think you can ask your question, so we all can just brainstorm on it.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Just ask the question, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So, competitive advantage, sustainable competitive advantage is my concern. So, I know competitive advantage to be either when you are a market leader, as in those in terms of cost leadership, or product differentiation, as he has mentioned, rightly mentioned. So, my concern is that there are other ways that you can become that you can have a competitive advantage. But many of these competitive advantage, they are things that can turn around in a space of little time. Like for instance, now it may be the cost leader in an industry, and another person will devise another way of doing the same thing, and you lose that leadership in terms of getting your product produced with very little cost. So my concern is that when does a competitive advantage become sustainable? When does a competitive advantage becomes sustainable? Because a competitive advantage could be turned around at any point in time. So I'm seeing sustainability as something that, come what may, you still be able to help other people out. Probably I'm not getting it, and that's why I wanted him to say something about it. I don't know if anybody can help.
I totally agree with your line of thought, and that was also one of the observations that I want to raise. Now, when you're talking about sustainable competitive advantage, to my best of understanding, it refers to those distinctive features that gives you an edge over your competitors that is hard to duplicate. Now, I think that the cross should be that it's hard to duplicate, or your competitors cannot conveniently exceed them. But now, in this very time and age, we've seen how technology, with the advent of technology has flattened that curve. For example, now, let's say if your cost of production is let's say like 10 million naira. Now we've got new technology that could drive down that cost of production to, let's say, about 2 million to 1 million. So now the argument now has to do with the lifespan of the sustainability of that competitive advantage. For me, I feel strongly that it has to do with the industry that you're in. So now let's say, for example, the telecommunication industry, you find out that these guys, there are new technology that are making things more easier, having more penetration, having more, that is actually driving the cost. That is actually driving down. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so now, I think it depends on the industry that you're in. Now, the industry that you're in, if it's an industry that adopts technology, let's say, like the telecommunication industry, you'll find out that the lifespan of competitive strategy sustainability will be short compared to, let's say, an industry that rely very little on technology. So for me, I think that is very, very debatable. So I don't think that any one company could hold that title for long.
Okay, thank you very much. And that's why I will. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, so I really appreciate your contribution. And you thrown more light into it. But the same is maybe whenever we get him out, we can see has for his own contribution too. So thank you very much, bro.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Can I make my own?
Yes, please.
I can also put one of those things.
That's right.
Says the basic question is how to sustain competitive advantage. Now, to sustain a competitive advantage, one of the features is to increase innovation and creativity in the areas of core competence. For instance, if it's an organization that has its strength on IT and technology, the impact of creativity on the products and services such organization renders will be able to sustain that competitive advantage that it tends to achieve. That is my own point. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, you did.
Yeah, you did make point, sir. However, I think we are looking at it from a little bit a slightly different perspective. You are looking at the way of making it sustainable, but we are saying that even the sustainability is not lifelong something. So we are not now looking at it that when will a competitive advantage become sustainable? And if we are going to be saying that it's sustainable, for how long will you be able to hold it for you to say that it's sustainable? Let me say, even when you are being innovative, other people are looking for a better way of doing the same thing that you are doing. Although they may not get it immediately, but as soon as it's gotten right, I'm telling you, they may just displace you, and that's your own advantage. May not really hold water again. So that's what we're looking at. That when does it become sustainable? Maybe probably when you have held it for about say 5 years or something, probably it will be seen as sustainable competitive advantage. But maybe when we see him, he will also have
You're right.
Okay, so you see, when
So let me add my own contribution.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
All right, so my name is Chuka. Let me add my own contribution. All right, what we have been saying are very correct, but if we look at it from the word sustainable and look at it as a company goals, part of the company goals is to remain in business, be profitable. And these competitive advantages are various initiatives that a company deploy so that it can remain the preferred or the chosen company or contractor in a chosen market, right? Now, in doing that, he has to look at his people, the organization, and the processes within the system. So he has to be start looking at this element.
I think your line is breaking.
They should know that the office got and indeed so like my colleague, in a manner. You don't need to bring your
Wow. The line. Hello.
Hi.
All right.
I
Since
think,
we lost.
yeah, I think you lost him.
Lost him. Okay. Okay. So what I'm trying to drive home is that sustainable competitive advantage simply means that is that is that edge that you have over your competitors in the market, which is hard to duplicate. In other words, it's not easy to duplicate that same strategy, and also it's also difficult, even if you are to pursue that strategy, it's difficult for you to exceed them. Now, let's take for example, let's just bring this home. In Nigeria, the cement industry, we know that the current market leader is Dangote. And one of the things that makes Dangote the market leader is, number one, he has the financial chest. He has a lot of money to finance his production, and he has a very wide distribution network. So now this is where the lecturer was talking about backward integration. So now backward integration simply means you owning the supply chain. So now, just like he was explaining that, okay, if you're a baker, now instead of you sourcing your flour from buying your flour from a third party, you own the farm that grows the wheat, and you also have a company that processes that wheat to flour. So you see, you're owning the entire supply chain. So in other words, there will be little or no disruptions. So now you know there won't be a time whereby you have to call your supplier and it's like, oh, okay, Oga, I'm out of stock, or sorry, I can't make it. So now these are the things that makes Dangote the current market leader in the cement industry. Number one is now it's very difficult. Now we can say Dangote's strategy is sustainable because it is very difficult for you to duplicate that strategy. If you look at the network he has on ground in Nigeria, you will need to carve out a huge sum of money to be able to match. Hello?
Yeah, but he definitely takes advantage of creativity and adding more value to his supply chain, and that is why he's still at the top.
Yes, we're saying the same thing, that Dangote's strategy is sustainable because number one, none of his competitors can match him, in terms of his creativity, in terms of the amount of resources he has at his disposal, in terms of his wide distribution network. So we're still on the same page. So all these things now makes the strategy sustainable. Because now if you want to go toe to toe with Dangote, you will need some huge sum of money. And so now the question is how many cement businesses can afford that? Given how big the Dangote cement business is in the country. So I think sustainability has to do with the difficulty of your competitor to duplicate that strategy or exceeding it.
Okay, it's all right.
No, I'm done.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
I think Chuka is up. I don't know if he has something to say.
It's
I think Chukwuka is back. I don't know if he has something to say.
There's leaving by 6. By 8 I should be back and I'll just shop. By 9.
8 a.m. is okay, yeah.
Hello, Mr. Chukwuka. Hello, Mr. Chukwuka.
Well,
Doesn't seem like the lecturer is coming back on.
Yeah, it seems so. So, I don't know. Is there any other observation, any other question, any other contribution?
I saw Chukwuka online. He was making a vital point before he went off. I don't know if he's back, so that he can continue with his point.
Okay. Is he here?
Hello everyone. I will keep you on to around the sustainability because this is related to corporate strategy or whatever to the discussion.
Okay.
For me, as a first person, and from what I've observed in the tech world over time, I've seen that they cannot have sustainability without research. If there's no research on your current status quo, you cannot improve on it, and before you know it, you shut out of the market. If we look back, I remember reading the history of Silicon Valley, of how it started. I realized there were guys before time, over time. Anyway, and with time, they've taken the back bench, and other new products and services have taken the front, and they are more or less like trending. And those ones that we accepted as the innovative concept that were everywhere, they've been eroded. Take Google for example. Google has been very proactive in terms of how it puts its product in front, but it has taken its time to invest in research. It's constantly researching, it's investing in research. Take Facebook for example. Facebook, when it started some years back, it's not the same Facebook now, because although it may be the same Facebook, unique features that's obtainable some years back when it started. These are not the same unique features that you can find now, because it's taken its time to develop in research and development, and has been able to incorporate those features into the innovation of old. If you take our time to look at Nairaland is like would have been probably a very innovative product or service from Nigeria, but over time it seems it has lost its relevance, because it has kept that same status quo for some years back. It has not been able to upgrade itself from where it was to where it should be. So there cannot be sustainability without being dynamic. If you're not dynamic in your services, if you're not dynamic with your product, there's no way you can sustain it. Sustainability for me is research. If you're not researching, if you're not trying to improve on what you have to make it better, then what you have cannot be sustainable. So the term sustainability is just something I would say is based on time, based on how well you've been able to invest in research. So that's pretty much it for me, based on my exposure and what I've seen over time.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Nice one. Thank you.
You are now unmuted.
Thank you, everyone. This is Support on the Line. We've been trying to reach Mr. Agu, but all attempts have failed. So I don't know if we can call it a day.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
So
Yeah, in the absence of no other question or clarification, can.
So should we take it that there are no questions or contributions?
No.
No questions.
All right, thank you
Or
very
is
much.
there?
No questions.
Thank you very much for your time. By tomorrow morning, this class will be uploaded, so you can find it on the corporate strategy module. Thank you very much, everyone. You have a wonderful night rest.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.